All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. Steve Young went on with Rich Eisen, and he talked about Brock Purdy. We're going to let you hear some of that dialogue coming up right now. But first, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week in both spots from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle. Go get some brisket chili, and tell them that Larry Krueger sent you. And of course, this video is also brought to you by our good friends at Underdog Fantasy. Check the link in the description. Use the promo code Krug, K-R-U-E-G, and they will match you up to your first $100. All right, let's talk a little bit about Steve Young. Steve Young went on the Rich Eisen show. And, you know, Rich asked him about Brock Purdy. And I love Steve because he cuts right to the quick. He's like, Brock Purdy's a great player, man. And he's only going to get better. And, you know, it's so funny because, you know, we talk so much about Purdy and, you know, some people like him, some people don't. It's always hilarious to me, the people that say there's going to be regression. I mean, there's no reason that there's going to be regression. This guy's getting smarter, stronger, more knowledgeable within the offense. You know, he's 23 going on 24. He's not getting worse. He's getting better. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that who are not fans of the Niners or fans of Brock Purdy, but that's a fact. Brock Purdy's getting better. And, you know, Steve Young is so good at just crystallizing why a player is getting better. Now, Brock has two things that are truly elite that you, for the most part, can't see when you're watching him. And so because you can't see it, people miss it, and they don't realize that those are such great traits, and that's a big part of his skill set and his value proposition. And those two traits are his quickness. He's got the 1.54 10-yard split. I mean, to put that in perspective, Tyreek Hill may be the quickest player in the history of the NFL. He's one of the quickest players I've ever seen. His 10-yard split's 1.50. Brock Purdy's is 1.54. Brock Purdy's 10-yard split is faster than most of the guys in the league. He's really, really, really quick. And that's the one thing. It looks kind of accidental when you see him drop back to pass. Somebody puts a little pressure on him, and then he escapes. And it looks kind of accidental, or like, wow, you know, he really anticipated that rusher. And what you're really seeing is you're seeing high-end quickness. You're seeing elite level quickness. This guy can escape. This guy can get away. And he can get away at will because he's quicker than you. And that's everybody in the league. I mean, he's as quick as almost any player in all of football. So that trait, he looks smallish. He looks kind of stocky. You would never believe that a 6 foot and change, 230-pound quarterback had the kind of quickness that's comparable to Tyreek Hill. But that's what he's got. You know, that's what he's got. So that's the one trait that you don't see. But Steve in this video, and let's hear from Steve, and then we'll talk about it. Here's Steve Young. Here's Steve Young on the Rich Eisen show talking Brock Purdy.
What is your expectation level of Brock Purdy this year, Steve? Let's go. What do you have?
Great player, and that's just a fact. And it's how he processes. Everybody now knows that he's only going to get better at processing. He's going to be able to, you know, get the ball out quickly. He has to, right? He said to everyone, I'm not as big, I'm not as fast, I'm not as strong. I can't just wait in the pocket and then sling it. So he's going to process, and he's going to get the ball out. And then people are going to start to see that, and they're going to start running where he's looking because he knows he's got to let it go. And he's going to fix this, you know, change his game as people get more of a, you know, a beat on him. But as far as, you know, playing quarterback in the NFL, if you want to be good, you got to be a great processor. And the dude is elite, and that's not going to change. He's going to be challenged, and especially if he loses some talent, if Brandon doesn't sign, you know. But they've got so many guys, and that's what you need in the NFL. As you know, Rich, you need a lot of help at quarterback. When you get a lot of help, you get good really fast.
You know, when you use the elite word, that's when radar screens go up. Radars go up. You just use the elite word for Brock Purdy, Steve.
Yes, sir. He is. He's as good. Experience processing a lot of times is experience as well. He's not as experienced as others, but as far as the ability to, take the ball and then process through, find, the truth in the play and get the ball out to it. I mean, it's as good as it gets. So I think that's why he's been able, but he doesn't go from the last pick in the draft to being one of the better players without having something very special. And the special part of him is this processing power that he has.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.
All right, there you go. There's Steve Young talking Brock Purdy on the Rich Eisen Show. And not only does Brock have that quickness, but he's got elite processing. That's what he's got. That's what makes him special. He's got crazy quickness and elite processing. So you just heard it there from Steve Young. He's like, yeah, man, this guy's, as a processor, he's elite. He knows what he's seeing at the line of scrimmage. You can't confuse him with coverages. You can't confuse him with, rolling from one look to another look post snap. He can roll with that. He can process what he sees, and he immediately knows that his first option, his second option, his third option, he knows what he's going to do. So he is an elite processor of information. And that means he's really, really football smart. And that also means he's really dedicated. All those Thursdays when we're waiting for Brock and we're supposed to interview him at 3 and he doesn't come out till 4:15 and we're sitting there and we're frustrated. Well, guess what? Guess what he's doing? He's having meetings about winning on Sunday and going through more mental reps. And that's what makes you the processor on game day, is the mental reps that you put yourself through, the rest of the week. And he's putting himself through mental reps. So on game day, he's processing even faster. And he knows you can't fool him. There's nothing you can show him that you're like, oh, man, you had this guy flummoxed. No, you didn't. He's processing what he sees at the line of scrimmage. And he's processing correctly. And he's processing quickly, and the ball's coming out. And that's a big part of what makes Brock Purdy Brock Purdy. So, Steve Young's on the money. Brock Purdy is an elite processor. You can't see processing. You can't see it at the combine. You can't see it in the 40. Can't see it in the 3-cone. Can't see it in the bench. Can't see it in the long jump. Can't see it in the broad jump. You see what I'm saying? You can't identify processing. You have to watch film. You have to watch the games to see Brock process at a really high level. But I love that Rich, and has Steve on, and I love that Steve can really verbalize exactly why Brock Purdy's special. He's super special. Football comes down to quarterback play, comes down to accuracy, toughness, and processing. Well, this kid is competitive as hell, tough as hell, accurate. The ball comes out accurate and on time, and he knows where he's going with it because he can process what he sees at the line of scrimmage. That's an awesome skill set. You've got escapability, quickness that nobody else has, and you have a computer, between your ears that you're processing what defenses are showing you quickly and correctly, consistently. So you're processing well, and if they get a rusher running at you, you got the quickness to sidestep him and make a play. You're accurate and on time, and you're competitive and super tough. I mean, that's it. That's why Brock Purdy's Brock Purdy. That's why he's special. Because he can process what he sees, and he knows first option, second option, third option. If this guy's covered, I'm going here. If that guy's covered, I'm going there. He's got, and then the competitive fire, that's all stuff he's had, right? He's just a competitor. Those are innate traits. But really, there's two overwhelming traits that nobody sees. And it's, for the most part, you rarely see his quickness. And when he does show it, it almost looks accidental. And the others is processing. And we see it on all these plays, but it's not something that's readily apparent on the film. You have to like really know what you're watching, and you have to watch it over and over again. And then you have to watch other quarterbacks run the same plays over and over again. You got to see everybody operates at a different play speed on game day. And it's how fast do you recognize what the defense is throwing at you? How fast do you process what you see? How fast do you go through your progressions? What kind of quickness do you have to avoid the athletes that are chasing you down on defense? This guy's got elite athleticism, and he is an elite processor. Great call by Steve Young. All right, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. And thanks to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this video. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.